Thank you and good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. KHSB 41 reporter Todd Palmer, who covers sports and business in eastern Jackson County, shares the idea with Todd. It feels like the stadium in Kansas City has been
percolating for
a long time, and it has been because it's been the Royals announced they plan to vacate Kauffman Stadium 879 days ago. An open letter of the chairman and CEO John Sherman dated November 15, 2022 on Twitter. Yes, the platform wouldn't change for another 8 months, but these were few developings earlier this week as talks dragged on in the public behind closed doors. First Business and civil leader from Kansas City region urged action to keep teams in second site once demand finalist in Clay County reemerged. Possible option again. It's been more than a year where voters rejected a de facto sales tax extension which would have funded the renovation of GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium and built a new ballpark in the northeastern corner of the Crossroads Art District.
Rebuke ad.
Pulls triggers Kansas legislators to spring an auction, putting the pressure on Missouri legislators to respond to it, ultimately driving up to taxpayers' cost. No matter how the stadium conversation shakes out, Sherman and the Chiefs'
counterpart,
Chairman and CEO Clark Hunt, on the record, hoping the details of future leases agreement settled by the middle of the year or around the time of Star Bond proposal from legislation in Kansas sunsets bring an extension. That made it a bit curious for why Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce and Kansas City Sports Commission chose on Monday to publish a video urging the action to keep the Royals and Chiefs in town. Were business and civil leaders spoken at the teams might bail, or it was a simple effort for more vocal about their support for keeping two teams in Kansas City the most and visible and beloved business town. They're probably making sure they keep process moving to Clay County. President Commissioner Jay Nolt said, the obvious part, apart from that, I think we realize there is a clock ticking here, and we need to make sure that we do not take any unnecessary time other than what we need to get the job done. The good news is for sports fans anyway, is both teams responded with a statement stating that their commitment to Kansas City, our family and organization, certainly is thankful but to see the support of the local and leaders in Kansas City. Hunt said, statement, KHSB News. That's according to KHSB News, all of this. The Chiefs have called this home then 6 decades, and we have made countless memories along the side. Generations of Chiefs fans working with the partners to community leaders. We remain committed to the city growth and success of the entire region. The Royal statement was more uniqueable. Our ownership is grateful to support the impressive
coalition
of the civil leadership come together to help us thrive in the region, Sherman said in a statement. KHSB News. Greater Kansas City is our team, our home for our fans, our partners in the Major League community. We want to keep it that way. Baseball fans want it too. And and it makes sense because Sherman didn't buy the Royals and assemble a hyper local ownership group with the idea of moving to Nashville or Salt Lake City. That is simply, hopefully, not happening, and the Royals continue to lash the idea down. The Kansas City legislators of 2025, but the Missouri legislators won't gravel out until May 16th. There's still some time from state to state to make an overarching to keep the Royals and Chiefs, but that's complicated by infighting among Johnson County and officials. It's important the Chiefs and Royals and Missouri Governor David Weinsinger said last month during a stop in Independence. I think a lot of that is going to be driven by the voters of Jackson County. So I think they're going to be the trip of the spear. We'll see what happens in Jackson County, and I think it will flow over it in Jefferson City from there. So far, that hasn't happened, but Clay County has emerged as an option to extend Everett Way before the provided crossroads locations ahead of the failed April 2024 vote. The Royals announced a site controlled by Marion family in North Kansas City as a finalist, along with the proposed East Village locations. It seems that North Kansas City remains in play. We've been continued to mix. Knowledge said, to tell the truth, the locations is just too good for us not to be. A bipartisan bill in Missouri Senate, Clay County established governor appointed to authority Jackson County Sports Complex Authority, which oversees Harry S. Truman Sports Complex. The company bill in the House isn't currently scheduled for red change quickly. It's an important step in the process. Renato said these kinds of transitions in long process. Nodal stage emerge as a given county, smaller tax bases exception was the voters who would have signed off a 1% sales tax. But the conversation with the city and state may have shifted to commit requires, I think, homework about the novel partisan aisle where it's working to local and county governments. We are trying to basically, unfortunately, the Royals and Chiefs must decide whether they stay or go. One thing is in mind in course of put together a package of possible and work in the franchise, but at the end of the day, the decision made by the teams, and they will be working in interest in an organization. We just make sure at the table and we work together as well as integrated teams. Washington Square Park remains another site has drawn interest to the speculation of the past. Royals play the Yankees tonight. Now we move on to live Major League Baseball. The Royals play the Yankees right now. Clark Schmidt will go for the Yankees, and Chris Bubick will go for the Royals. Game time has started at 6:10. The Royals are 8-10. Let's see what the score of the game is right now. The Royals will play Detroit tomorrow. The Cubs lose today 4-2 to take the series to the Padres. The Cubs are off tomorrow. The Cardinals win 4-1 and are back at 500 at 9-9. In the NBA tonight, the Bulls will play the Heat to see who plays the Grizzlies, who lost last night, which will be a must-win for both teams for the Grizzlies on Friday night, and both teams, and if the team loses tonight, and for the team that loses tonight. Mavericks will play the Kings to see who goes on to play the Hawks, who lost to the Magic in Game 1. Game time is at 9 for the Mavericks and Kings tonight. Now let's go over the NBA playoff rules. Game 1, which was last night, 7th and 8th. Winner gets the 7th seed in the playoffs. Loser gets another chance at Game 3. 9th and 10th is tonight. Winners move on. Game 3. Losers of 7 and 8 versus winners of 9 and 10. Winners of the 8 get the 8th seed, and losers get the eliminated. Remember, in the NBA East and West are the only conferences around. They don't go by divisions, they go by the first 8 seeds. And then they add the 9th, the 10th, and the 7th and 8th seed in the playoffs. And that's how it works. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report.